Hey there, Winganati. How you doing? I'm here for an interesting episode. Um, I actually, and first off, I want everyone to know that I'm not in a bad mood. I'm actually in a pretty decent mood. But I did want to talk to you guys about the five saddest moments in my life. Um, so my mood very well may change during this vlog. But at the same time, I just figured this way you guys have a chance to really get to know me and to get to see me for who I am, the human, not the goatee or non-goatee wearing Wolverine aged up person that you know me to be. Um, so I guess we'll do it as we'll go start from the fifth place down to these are the things that have probably affected me the most in a sad way. God, and actually doing five, I haven't even wrote these down, so the list might kind of be a little jacked, but I'm gonna do my best to, because I already know what number one and number two are, but I think number five, saddest moment in my life was when my grandfather died. I called him Pup Up. That's what his name was. He was Pup Up. He wasn't Grandpa. Um, when Pup Up died, it was weird. I was in the Marine Corps at the time, and I actually remember walking from the hangar that I was in. I'm stationed in the air wing of the Marine Corps, and I remember walking across the street. Something just was weird in my head at that moment, and I saw the chaplain, who, if you don't know, a chaplain is a naval officer, but does the work of the God. He's basically there for you to pray and everything's basically like a priest for the military. But I saw the chaplain crossing the street from the administration building. Now, normally I wouldn't suspect anything about it because his office was really technically connected to the admin building. But as soon as he went to cross the street, I happened to be crossing at the same time, and then I saw him look at me like he was reading my name that was on my shirt. And I literally just looked at him and I said, when did he die? I knew. Somehow I actually knew that my grandfather had passed. Something kicked in my head, and I knew that he passed, and it was a pain. It was a real big pain in my ass, because, looking back, I think he might be one of the few family members who actually understood me. If something was pissing him off, he's not afraid to tell you to your face, and I think that's kind of where I got that whole attitude from. If he was mad about something, he let you know he was mad about it. Now, on the opposite side, he would never actually ever say the phrase that he loves you or something like that. It was just he just figured you knew. Now I'm the opposite. I tell everyone that I love. I tell them that I love them. But yeah, knowing that he died, that was rough. That's definitely in my top five for sure. Number four, I know people say, well, death's kind of a hard thing. How can you put something over that? Because I think that when you put certain situations at that moment in your life, it affects you really bad. But number four will most likely definitely have to be My last drive home from California. I used to live in Burbank. I actually went to Burbank to pursue my career as an actor. Um, I took off, and I'm like, I'm gonna make it this time. It was gonna be the moment. Oh, God, and I had some horrible roommates out there. Um, One guy thought he was this Greek goddess. He thought he was the greatest thing, or great Greek god. He thought he was this Casanova of the world. Thought he was the gift to the world. He was a douchebag. Um, One roommate, but both of these were actors and actresses. But they always thought that they were so much better than everybody. Uh, One of my roommates was Jean-Luc Bilodeau. He's an actor from Canada who he's on show My Baby's Daddy or something like that on Netflix. They were just not cool. Yeah, they were just like nasty individuals, and it was really, really rough living there with individuals who were just a nasty composure. Um, their mommies and daddies handed them most of their work, so they were able to do whatever they wanted to. So when it came time to have a real life, they just didn't do it. They had an income brought in there, but I couldn't make it. And so it was the drive home. You know, initially a drive home is nothing new, but that was the drive that I realized that I was done being an actor. I was giving up my acting career, and so the reason that's number 4 on my list is because that was kind of a really bad wake up call in my life. Number 3, my divorce. Now, don't get me wrong. That all actually worked out, and it actually worked out pretty damn good. But because I'm friends now with my ex-wife, and Inger, if you're watching, you know that you're probably one of my dearest friends on this planet, and I do respect that. But the absolute breakup of it, the divorce, and I don't really want to go into details because I frankly don't think that's many of y'all's business, but that was rough. I didn't want that divorce. Part of me thinks because that made me a real big failure in life, knowing that I couldn't keep a marriage together. And it just, I'm sorry, that she's a great mom. I think I was just a lousy husband. And knowing that, I think hurts. Um, yeah. Um, 3 kind of leads into number 2. Um, One of the hardest moments in my life was the moment when I decided to be, I guess, self-serving. And I went to California for the first time. Or not for the first time, like for the second time. And I left my kid, I left my daughter, and for anyone who knows me, that my daughter is the most important thing in my life. I felt like a real ass doing that. And sorry, guys, I tried to stay positive, but I knew this one was going to be tough. Next time, I promise I'll do a video of happy shit. But no, leaving my daughter and going away to California, it was so rough. So many times I wanted to stop that U-Haul truck and turn right around and head back for my kid, but I had nowhere to go. It was a leap of faith, and that leap of faith did not work out. Hence, I am now living with my dad, which hopefully things will be changing real soon. But number one, the loss of my mother when my mom died. Roughest, God, beyond compare. Let me give you a little bit of background on that one. My mother was always kind of real sick, but she was always heavy set. So she took medicines for her health. My mom wanted to surprise me. And she lost a lot of weight. Simply mostly by not eating, which wasn't healthy, but she lost a lot of weight to impress me, which she never had to do. That I loved her regardless. That was never an issue. But problem is that she was still taking her medicines for her being very heavy set. The doctors never caught that, so that led to her having a heart attack. And I was in Michigan at the time. I went to Texas where my mom was, and I was there for her. And she seemed to get better. And then I didn't have any more many more days available, so I actually went back home, and I was in my apartment at that night, and I went to bed. Next morning, my phone rings around 6 a.m. And I looked at the caller ID. I never picked up the phone, but I looked at the caller ID and I saw it was my mom. I did not answer. My thought was I could call her later. I was just going to sleep in a little. And then I went back to bed and there's a knock on my door maybe 30 minutes later. It was my Aunt Judy, and she knocked on the door. I was confused, like, why is my aunt there? And she told me that my mom had died in her sleep last night. I didn't know what to do. Before my daughter was born, my mom was my everything. Hell, my daughter's named after my mother. My mom's name was Alice Claudia. I named my daughter Claudia Alice. I didn't pick up that phone, and part of me to this day is thankful I didn't, because I straight up would have probably killed myself. Which means that my daughter wouldn't have been born, which means a lot of things wouldn't have affected me, but that was number one. That was the roughest moment of my life. I know, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cry up on you guys. I promise I'll do on my next vlog the 10 happiest or 5 most happiest moments of my life. But sorry you guys had to see me cry. I really am. But just so I wanted you guys to know that that's kind of who I am. And I figure before I give you all the good, you should see some of the bad. So yes, this Wolverine could cry. You guys take care. Say goodbye, precious. Oh, well, you didn't want to see that.